Welcome to the show. I am MMA insider and Herb Dean's dog sitter, Joey Venti, and you're listening to the MMA History Podcast, the only podcast dedicated 100% to the preservation of mixed martial arts history. Interviews and stories about the early days of MMA direct from the men who lived it. Hundreds of interviews, thousands of hours of research, all conducted by the most obsessed mind in the business, the MMA detective Mike Davis. Join us as we document the history of the sport we all love. Welcome back to the MMA History Podcast. I'm Joey Venti. I'm here with the MMA detective Mike Davis, and today is another special episode. Today is part 2 with the legendary MMA street fighter and WCW wrestler, the Ukrainian's favorite, David Tank Abbott. Thank you for coming back.
Yeah, yes, sir. My pleasure. Always good to be back.
So Tank, we've actually got a couple of we stopped your career at Maury Smith in our last interview. So I've got a couple lead-ins, and then we're going to get real heavy into pro wrestling. Joey and I obviously are not pro wrestling guys, but we have consulted people behind the scenes that are very knowledgeable of that. I've scoured tens of thousands of YouTube comments. Like, the amount of comments that pro wrestling fans leave it's mind-boggling, as well as message boards. I think I've pieced together a pretty good timeline and some conspiracy theories in regards to what took place with you that you've not been asked.
Yeah, no, that's whatever. Just to survive, just to get into professional wrestling and to survive professional wrestling, you have to be pretty slick and know how to move.
Yes, you do. Yeah, it's like going to a used car lot and trying to figure out what the best shitty car is that you can drive for a few years, and having a salesperson that's looking at you and they look like they're telling the truth every single piece of shit they're trying to sell you. Yeah.
That could be accurate.
Yeah. So here, let's talk about your first trip to Japan. UFC 15.5. Yoji Anjo is your opponent. Anjo is no slouch. He's a hero in Japan, can take an ass kicking, and people really weren't aware if you had a gas tank or not in regards to cardio, and Anjo certainly could test that.
Well, you know what? And the people, this is after the fact, but all you guys out there want to say whatever you want to say. I was in shape for the fights I knew I was going to have, like UFC 6, but 2 of the biggest men ever. I didn't fight my friends and that kind of stuff, or guys that took jobs. I went out there and fought over 14 minutes in the finals. It was at altitude. I was in shape. All these people that run around and call me fat and all this stuff, and he's out of shape and he's drinking all the time. That is your guys' made up BS. And the fact of the matter is, nobody was there to fight. And so all these other guys, nobody else would fight. They were pussies, man. They go, hey, man, you got to fight. And they all of a sudden, this is also a big thing. These guys that are fighters think they are the Donald Trumps of the fighting world once they get a name, and they're gonna tell you what the deals are, and they're the best thing since sliced bread. And these guys like Meyerowitz and all of them had to deal with these monkeys, and they're sitting there going, "Oh my God, like really? I know you can't be the brightest guys in the world, but come on, be realistic." And they would pull out of fights, like Severn pulled out of fights. Try to leave them high and dry and screw them over and go, I'm the boss. Don't you know? I got sliced bread here. And guess what? Who did they know that they could call and show up and fight? I fought hurt. I couldn't even walk when I fought Ferozzo. I got my rematch with him and sent him to the hospital again. These guys, nobody would fight. And I wasn't in shape when I fought Maurice Smith. I wasn't in shape. I told John McCartney, I could put my hands on my knees. That means I'm not in shape. Stop the fight because I'm not going to take a beating. I was literally partying 2 days ago on a bar stool going, oh, yeah, I'm going to watch a show. No, guess what? They called me up and said, you're going to be in the show? And I said, you guys are in a jam. I'll show up. I don't care. Don't expect anything from me. Please tell the people out there that I haven't been training. I haven't been doing this stuff. I'm here to have a show for you guys and have a fight. Maybe I get a good punch. I got one in on Maurice Smith. It wasn't good enough to keep him to sleep, but I put him down. So at least I went out there and did my thing. And then everybody's like, oh, if he just got in shape. And there's a theory I have about that. I'm sorry if I'm going off on it, but the point is, these people live by proxy through fighters. And they like to sit there and go, oh, I'm going to beat that guy that weighs 260 pounds, that benches over 600 pounds. Oh, I just get him tired. That's what I would do. Look how he's out of shape. He can't be in shape. And look at his body. I'm sorry I don't have a roid head body. I wrestled 190 pounds in college, and I cut from 230. I was decent, shape then, but that doesn't mean you're in shape. I ran a fucking marathon when I was 227 pounds. Looked exactly the same fat-wise. I have fat skin, so what? I'll still kick your ass. I mean, just because you look like a fucking roid head bodybuilder like Vitor Belfort or something doesn't mean you're a tough guy. I mean, come the hell on. That's the steroids working on your brain, walking around thinking you're a tough guy. No, you're a pussy.
All right. So when we had Meyerowitz on, in the beginning of the show,
by the way, for fair disclosure, I checked out you, Isaacs, and Meyerowitz on your show after I did your show. I checked them
decent,
out.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, decent. So we do research.
Yeah.
So Meyerowitz, in essence, I was, when you start watching people's fights all in a row, you get a little different perspective on them. So my pushback with Meyerowitz was you had like a lot of motivation in regards to like wanting tank, but it didn't seem like there was that much want or desire for Ken Shamrock. And wait, let me just finish. So going through everything, you got to look at it this way. UFC 3, Ken Shamrock pulls out. UFC 5, it's an absolute bore fest with Royce Gracie, where it was proven they either were same fan base or dipped. And then there was the dance in Detroit where they proved that they lost fans that day. And with you, anytime you headlined or came off the couch, it was crowd going crazy. Like you were over, and it was guaranteed X amount of sales. So like from a business standpoint, what Meyerowitz, although I couldn't understand it later on because Ken is very charismatic and he's
that's in the beholder,
right.
Ken, and you have to understand, Ken comes from Pancrase, and all you dilettantes out there that think you're esoteric and you know the insides about professional or was it Pancrase? It's a worked fighting show. It's professional wrestling, stiff professional wrestling, and all these guys that claim they're from Pancrase, watch out. Oh, and you're Michael Jackson. When you go down walking down Tokyo, everybody knows who you are in Roppongi. Who cares? You can talk like, oh, you guys should see how big I am as a star on the moon. No one knows that, so they play into that. And that's where Ken Shamrock came from. He came from professional wrestling in Japan, which branched out into Pancrase. But the whole point being is Ken had that professional wrestling knowledge and behind the scenes working of more of a show than a real being a warrior and being a fighter, twisting people's toes and knees and going, oh, I know secret moves.
To further that's just the beginning of his career. Like, it
Yeah.
continues. You got the Kimbo Slice controversy. You've got the PD My Heart. I mean, there's several instances with Ken where you're scratching your head going, oh, when something reoccurs over and over again, it's hard to argue that it's a coincidence.
Because he's seasoned and he knows when to pull out. Yeah. He I mean, I don't care. I don't like talking too much about bad. I mean, Ken's never really said anything bad about me, so I just tell the truth. And you say stuff. You mention my name out of your mouth. Be prepared for me to come back and talk about you. Oh, guess what? Because I tell the truth, and all you guys say is, well, bullshit. You guys don't even have a clue of what the truth is. I tell the truth. And I'm sorry if you can't handle the truth, like some movie line used to say.
Yeah.
But if you can't handle the truth, don't fucking turn around and call me a bullshitter, because I don't tell bullshit. I don't have to. What I'm going to do, make my record better? I fought. My record is the way it is because I went out and fought. Now, I didn't fucking go, oh my God, I can't go fight you because my record's going to get fucked up. I said, what? You're going to pay me money and I'm not going to jail? Fuck, I'll show up. Why not?
How did you like Japan?
You know what? Japan was pretty cool. And I went over there a few times, and more than a few, but I couldn't wait to get home.
You were over there though. Like it's generally a real quiet crowd, and they popped. They popped for you.
I didn't. When I fought Anjo, I didn't even notice the crowd. And that was I think it was at a Yokohama arena, and and I fought Pride one time, like the judo guy.
Yeah.
And that was a little screwed up situation. I was fought there, and in my career, there was a whole point where I just didn't give a rat's ass. I was just like, I remember going to, they put me on a snake lift or a scissor lift kind of thing up on the stage, and they put me halfway up to fuck with my head. I was jet lagged, no big deal. But then it goes up to the stage, which is like 3 or 4 stories high, and they introduce you, oh yo, take Abbott, or whatever they do, and the lights come on. It was like I was having conversations with myself, like I was watching a movie, like holy fuck, this is crazy, man. And go walk down there, and he goes walking out in his little judo suit or whatever he had, and it was like a foot goes flying by me, and I was like, oh fuck, you're in a fight, time to go. But yeah, it was more of an awestruck kind of situation for me. But Japan, Roppongi, and you can have some fun there. And I like they had a little steakhouse there. I can't remember the name, but it was a pretty cool place to eat. I thought I was going to starve the first time I went there. And then they actually, I went to the floors, and they had the best Western breakfast I ever ate in my life to this day. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But I couldn't wait to get home after a while. You're just like, oh my God, I had enough of this culture. Yeah, it was time to get out of there.
So you broke your hand against Anjo?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay. That was in my notes.
It was supposed to be a tournament. You were supposed to get Marcus Conan Silveira after.
No.
No?
You know what? I can be pretty shady on things because I don't write things down like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to remember to tell this story sometime. Kind of like if I pulled over at a stoplight and beat some guy up because he was a smart ass. is like, forget about it. And like these, these things here, but no, I didn't. I don't think I hurt my hand. I might have banged it up a little bit, and I was not supposed to fight anybody after that.
Yeah, really. So Hugo Duarte is your next opponent, and Joey, he's sponsored by Billabong. Like before Billabong got huge and was like had.
Who was?
You or you? It said it on your shirt when you walked in.
Maybe, but I wasn't sponsored by it. Maybe they gave me a shirt or something.
It was like CSM Athletics, Billabong.
CSM. That was Craig, and he's passed away. But yeah, no, he sought me out at the very beginning, and he was a cool guy. He has always been cool. And CSM was a company that cleaned big gyms, like LA Fitness type gyms, and he would clean gyms and refurbish them. Like he put a gym in my house, that kind of stuff.
That's cool.
But that was Craig. But no, Billabong, I don't think, you're scratching at the surface a little bit, but it was nothing ever serious. So maybe
they just gave you the shirt, maybe.
Yeah, maybe, but it was like at that time I didn't give a rat's ass, and I've never been like a money grubber kind of person. Like these guys that all like fight, and I will bring up assholes name wise, and Tito would be like somebody like that. That guy's just a money grubbing, dumb, retarded human being. And a thief on top of it all.
Litigious.
And litigious. Yeah, he said he was going to sue
Threatened to sue us.
Was he?
That's what he said. I mean,
oh my God! What, for telling the truth? You're going to get in trouble for telling the truth about something?
There's a message board called theonlyground.com. Dude, they're phenomenal. They demanded that Joey and I go on like Sean Ryan and just go, and we welcome your legal letter, Tito Ortiz.
Well, I'm glad you guys are covering your bases right now.
Oh, yeah, we're real worried. Real worried about that. So Hugo Duarte, here's the thing. It's a quick fight. I'll tell you this right now.
I wasn't in shape for that one, was I?
Okay, but for Brazilian?
And before we lose this, Tito Ortiz was wrestling at Bakersfield. And that was the whole show where he decided to warm himself up in my truck and wait for me to come out and practice. And by the way, I've seen other things. That was a Jackson clip or something like that. And he goes, he's a liar. He's never even went to Bakersfield. And when he was there, I asked him for $1,500, not $500. And I'm like, wait a minute, I wasn't there, never there? What the hell are you talking about? We all know how bright he is. But that match, I was in excellent shape. And I was wrestling with Stephen Neal, who was on Bakersfield's Tito's team. I wasn't driving up there to go wrestle with Tito. Tito's a joke as far as wrestling goes. The only reason why he was a two-time state champion is because he was out from school. He was held back in high school. I get these things sent to me on my feed about dumb things that Tito does. Yeah. And they're nonstop, 365 days a year, if not twice a day.
I think I tagged you the other day in one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. People do it all, send it to me all the time. But I see I digressed and I lost it because of him. But yeah, no, he just he's a wonder. But it just goes on and on and on. But anyway, so I was wrestling with Stephen Neal. I was sharp, and he's a national champion. He's the guy that beat Lesnar in the NCAAs. And the guy, by far, I've wrestled with world champions, national champions. Mark Schultz, even he left a comment on the message board about me training me and spotting me in BYU. That was Mark Schultz, and he said something about I love to fight, and he also said I was funny.
Yeah.
And he still has. And he said, and he says yes. I gave him some gloves when I left. But yeah, Mark is also a cool guy and tough as nails. And I've trained with him, but I was training with Stephen Neal then. And so wrestling Hugo Duarte, I don't care. I'm pretty sure everybody knows my thoughts of jiu-jitsu. Like it works, but you don't have to be tough to do it. And you better watch out for a tough guy that knows jiu-jitsu also, because you don't just slap the asphalt and you get your head bashed in.
So Duarte for a Brazilian, I'm sorry, Joey. Duarte for a Brazilian, he had a crazy good takedown. Brazilians generally don't have the type of shot that Duarte has.
I was absolutely surprised about that. Yeah, so whatever, it happens. You get taken down. That's why, whoever I've wrestled with in the gyms, I don't sit there and go, oh, I took him down and I did that. Shit happens, especially in a wrestling room. You get bored and you do stupid things that you would never do in a match. So you can't really say, oh, I took that guy down. That guy was a champion this and a champion that. But I guarantee all the guys I ever wrestled with won't say I was a slouch.
I remember Tank wins in 43 seconds, and then he dedicates the fight to Frank Sinatra, who died the night before. Am I remembering that right?
Yeah.
That was a classy move.
Oh, yeah. I've actually I've seen, and I had to drag Paul Herrera and some other guys with me. I go, dude, we're going to go see Frank Sinatra in Long Beach. And he's like, oh, man, I see that old guy. And I'm going, no, you don't understand. This is like the icon of icons, man. This is
Absolutely.
Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, it's throwback. Absolutely.
Yeah, and back in the day, I used to have a big, giant Sony TV screen with a crazy loud sound system. And I used to enjoy a few cocktails and watch the Frank Sinatra show just about every night by the end of the night. So all the neighbors in my neighborhood got to listen to it also.
Yeah. So this is your second opponent that also fought Rickson Gracie.
Uh-huh.
I mean, his were street fights and a dojo storm. Rickson called everybody out. He said Coleman was too weak. Gary Goodrich wasn't good enough. Like he went down the list of who's who, but your name never came out of his mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, secretly, I was hoping it would, because you seem to be like more of a man of action when you see somebody that talks about you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always ready to get up and go. And I like all these young kids think that I'm like, what is it, Ned Flanders? Yep. I'll tell you what, I'm healthy now.
And Ned Flanders was funny. The Ned Flanders comment was pretty good.
Well, you think that I'm not? I don't. You think I could pick other glasses and look different if I wanted to? I wear and look the way I want to look, but you poke the bear, you better watch out, youngsters, because I can still get down if I have to. I don't bother anybody. I don't want to be bothered, and that's just the way it goes. Just live and let live, and that's the way I am. I'm an old retired man. I don't need any trouble with anybody. I live in a permitless carry state, and you want to mess around, mess around. I lived with a Bird Dog, who was a 3-time combat veteran from Vietnam, and his commander is named Major Mark Smith. He was a POW, and his favorite saying was, "I'll shoot you and go have a good breakfast." and he would smoke out of a black onyx cigarette holder, and he'd blow smoke up, and you could tell in his eyes it wouldn't have been his first barbecue.
Yeah.
And hello, Major Mark Smith, if you're out there. Haven't seen you since I got sick. I hope you're still kicking and everything's good.
So Hugo Duarte is a luta libre guy. Pedro Rizzo's a luta libre guy. That's
the only guy that I will say kicked my ass.
Rizzo, were you in shape for that?
Yeah, I was in shape for that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but the point was that made it difficult. It was not an excuse. And all you guys, all the fucking comment clowns with the negative bullshit, they don't know, head from their ass. There's not an excuse. There's a reason. And the octagon that they had, the surface of the thing was like ice on my wrestling shoes. And he came walking in, and they poured some bunch of water and stuff on the canvas, and he was stuffing his feet down, and I'm like going, what the fuck's that about? It's just things that go through your head. And then I went out there to sit down on my punches and start punching with him, and it was like, whoa, I was like on a sheet of ice. Like I said, he kicked my ass, and I was not prepared for his leg kicks. I dare say probably broke my leg. It hurt really bad. And thank God we were in Brazil, because they gave me a pain shot in the back afterwards. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, Couture said the same thing.
Yeah,
Couture says he's got a dent in his leg still today from that.
Well, I don't have a dent, but fuck, man, that hurt like a motherfucker.
A nice guy, too. And he's a nice guy.
Yeah, absolutely. He was cool. Afterwards, I talked to him. He ruined my Rio vacation. I was hobbling around Rio going, oh my God, fucked my leg up that bad.
Oh, okay. So here's the thing. Shortly after this, you're at Extreme Challenge 22. It's November 21st, 1996. And Pat Smith is on the card. And do you remember going? It was in Salt Lake City. You don't remember urinating, swearing at Pat Smith or anything like that?
Nope.
Not at all.
Didn't even know that he was there.
Oh, he was on the card. Yeah, they said that you were.
Well, everybody's got a fucking story, man. These and by the way, these comment clowns, all right? They say oh yeah, what about this guy? I was in fucking make up a name, Menlo Park, and I kicked Tank's ass, and I fucked him up, and all these guys. He's not the only one. There's like tons of them. Guess what, guys? I have never been in a street fight since fucking July 14th, 1995. So if you beat some fat guy up with a goatee, don't go running around and say, oh, I beat Tank Abbott's ass, because you didn't. All right? Go have your little fantasies, and go tell. And when you get real drunk and go, oh, did I ever tell you about when I kicked Tank Abbott's ass? No, you didn't. You wouldn't even know who I was before Casper, Wyoming. You wouldn't even known who I was unless you were around town and go. I used to go into a bar and stuff, and people would go, oh, and they go, oh, you're fucking Tank Abbott. Not Tank, but Dave Abbott. And I would go, yeah, and then they would disappear. Saying that no one knew who Tank Abbott was before 1995, July 14th. Nobody. Well, they knew of my name, and they knew my knuckles when I bashed their fucking head in. But no. So if you beat up Tank Abbott somewhere, it wasn't me.
Okay. So Dave Armstrong had a question for you. He said that you and Jim Blatnick during your interviews, you always seem to kind of tease him. Was that a legitimate, like a rub or a tease, or was there some heat between the two of you?
Jeff Blatnick.
Jeff Blatnick. Yeah, I apologize.
Yeah, no. Me and Jeff actually got along well. I believe I saw him wrestle in Anaheim in the Olympics, but we got along. He was kind of goofy, which is all right. I mean, who cares? Because everybody in the world can't be cool like cool people. But he was kind of goofy. Went to dinner with him. I don't know too many people. I think maybe twice I went to dinner with him with my group. You know, like, and he was always cool. He had funny stories about Huntington Beach and about how he was freaked out that the helicopter was low and it was kind of like mayhem everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like the HB of old, not nowadays, but back in the day when it was new.
Okay. So Bobby Kellis asks, in our first interview, you had mentioned a incident with John Peretti, and he believes that you meant to say Tony Blauer. You had an incident with Tony Blauer.
Yeah, you know, and I might have jumped the gun on Peretti. There was nothing like in his face kind of Peretti. I always just thought he was a joke. I said that thing that I said on TV. You can see I've seen it before, but he was more into this martial arts BS that I'm not really a fan of. You're tough, all right? I don't care if you're like Rogan. He's like the biggest podcast guy or whatever. And thank God he's a super cool dude, had me on his show. But just because you know Jiu-Jitsu, Joe, and point Taekwondo does not mean you're a tough guy. You're a little ankle biter. And I love your passion in the whole 9 yards. And, you know, you kind of got the no hair and a bubble gut. I don't know what kind of supplements you take, but
all of them.
You know, so I don't know if he admits to it or not, but yeah. Oh, okay. Well, if he doesn't, that's cool. But he's a little guy, and like I said, he was really gracious to have me on the show. I was what's the word? You know, strokes take it out of you, and I had 5 and a mini crown of strokes, and it's not easy. And I went on his show, and I was still injured from all of that, and so I was kind of like mentally handicapped more than normal for me.
It went well though. I saw the show. It went well.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun.
But he seems to fire out these backhanded compliments with almost with a little bit of a rub on him.
Yeah, recently he did actually. Yeah, he said that you could compete in today's heavyweight division of the UFC.
Yeah, because they're so bad. What kind of? That's a backhanded compliment, and he's a bright guy. I mean, that's just one of them. I don't keep score, but it's just kind of like whatever. It's just like these little ankle biters are getting their jollies off. Like, oh, let's make fun of the big tough guy because I'm not. You know?
I think it's a compliment because you can't say the same about the welterweights or the middleweights. But in today's UFC, if you have heavy hands and can wrestle, you could compete in today's era.
Well, yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, I don't think it's really evolved much, to be honest with you, the heavyweight division. And I mean,
well, so that you have to understand, Joe's a really smart guy, and so that's like a backhanded compliment. Like, it's not really evolved. And I'm not so much, you guys didn't invent the fucking wheel, these new guys that fight. There's been fighting going on. And just because you know jiu-jitsu or reach into a hat and grab a martial art, just because you know that does not make you tough. What makes you, look, Mike Tyson, he's one tough son of a bitch. George Foreman, son tough of a bitch. But are there better boxers than him? Yeah, I imagine there are. And guess what? It has nothing to do with boxing. How fucking badass and tough you are. Those guys are. And that's what fighting is. So you guys, if you were rich, you should be the baddest ass according to your philosophy and the way of thinking, school of thought, that you're going to be a badass because you can go pay. You're like that Barry Moneyberg dude or Derek Moneyberg. I actually like that guy.
Yeah,
Why not?
Too. I do too.
He takes their premise and says, "Why not? I'm going out and learning all this shit. I'm a black belt. Fuck, I'm badass." What?
Wait, what?
Right?
I'm not badass. Well, what's wrong? How can I not?
I love it. I even left him a comment, said, "Right on, Moneyberg."
Dude, Joey and I bought T-shirts.
We did.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, well, you can't think one way, and then I serve it up on a platter to you, and you're like, "Well, that's not really what I mean."
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I know jiu-jitsu. Well, so does he. Why is
he's a badass.
Why is he any less than you?
Yeah, he's a fucking badass for sure.
Yeah,
murderer. Dude, one of the toughest guys in the world. He knows jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, now you understand my thought and my reasoning. Yeah.
So there was a rumor that on the K1 card that you were supposed to fight Butterbean.
Yeah, a couple times. And I like Butterbean. He's a cool dude.
That was a rumor in Huntington Beach too, towards the end of your career, that it was floated again as an idea.
Yeah, we actually went and had they were going to do it in the LA arena there.
There was one with,
we had a dinner, and the promotion side of it fell apart.
Was that going to be boxing?
No, it was a K1 at the Coliseum. It's the one where Brock Lesnar fought on it. They comped like 40,000 tickets.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to it, but I did a thing with at WrestleMania with Butterbean. And you cannot not like the guy. He's a cool dude.
Hey, dude, he's a heavier guy that's got a crushing lead left hook that likes to fight.
He doesn't give a rat's ass. He doesn't even train either. And I understand.
Love Butterbean.
Yeah. At the end of my career, I didn't care. And when they called me to come back, I think they were going through a little dip, and they were looking for a spark to pull it back up, to get it back on track. And I think, and I don't want to go there, but it wasn't Dana said, "Hey, let's get Tank Abbott back here." And I was wrestling and I was done, and I'm wrestling was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. And so I was like, well, what I'm going to do is sit here and, leaving Las Vegas, that movie. Yeah. And Nick Cage is like, fuck, what am I going to do now? He loses his job. Fuck, I think I'll just drink myself to death. And without saying it, that's basically what I did.
Yeah, ain't good.
And so I said, yeah, well, why not? I'll fucking do it. And so I went to Vegas and I signed a 3-fight deal with Dana, and with all good intentions in my heart. And I had a series of bad things happen in my life, as life happens for everybody. And it just took the wind out of my sails, and I just didn't want to do anything. I called Dana up. It was before the Frank Mir fight. And I said, it was a couple of weeks or so before it. And I said, hey man, I can't fight for you. I just can't do it. And he's like, what? Well, like, what are you talking about? You can't not fight. And the warrior that I am, and the show must go on mentality. And I said, fuck it. I go, okay, I'm not gonna make you beg. I don't want to sound like a Tito Ortiz and say, well, you sweeten up the pot. Maybe I could think about it. I was like, no, I'll show up, Dana. Don't expect anything. That you don't. There'll be a body in the cage, but don't expect anything. And ironically, along with that time, they had me come back to the Taj Mahal, and I was going to do some kind of announcement thing, I think. And that was the first time that I got fucking whacked over with cirrhosis. And I was in the hotel room, and I was supposed to be down. I was supposed to meet Dana for something, and I couldn't fucking move. I was in my room, and I sucked it up as hard as I could, and I made it for half of the show, and I was like, wow, that was a fucking eye opener. So anyways, so we all saw what happened with Mir, and I was training with some really tough guys in jiu-jitsu.
You're training with John Mir at this time. Not John Mir.
John Marsh.
John Marsh at this time.
John Marsh and Bo.
Yeah. Bo Hirschberger. Let's dial it in a little bit here. So at this time, it's pretty much the end of your first initial UFC run. When do the negotiations start with WCW?
Everybody was scrambling because they were going to get rid of it. There's the whole show. And
you're talking about the UFC.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when all the heat was coming down. Okay.
And everybody was panicking, running around with like rats with the fucking turn on the lights, roaches or whatever. Anyways, so I'm like, I did back in those days, and I still do. It's like whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen, man. Fuck, that's just how way life is. And I was like, wow, it's kind of eye opener, like because like you think when you're caught up in the middle of it, and I was the fucking star of the show. And sorry, but all you people that don't know
you brought ratings. No, you brought ratings. That's for sure. I mean, Myra would say
that was a fact of the show. All these other clowns were nobodies. You name the guys, and they may be great fighters and all that stuff, but no one gave a rat's ass about them. And I because I don't care about this. And this is the point. John McCartney makes up some cockamamie story about him making up the word MMA or the acronym MMA. That had nothing to do with him. He said he told he needed time off of work and all this shit. And he's going to do a martial arts show. And he told the cop above him that it was mixed martial arts. What a bunch of fucking bullshit that guy's so full of. When I was at the shows, I was the show. And so they had all the press there, everybody. And do you think anybody wanted to talk to Don Fry or Coleman or Severin? No, they don't give a fuck about those guys. And so they would set up meetings with all the media, one after another. And it's kind of like if you go to these autograph signing, the big names like the Goldbergs and the Undertakers and all that. So they have their own private off room, and everybody else, scrubs like me, sit out with next to Jimmy Hart and the rest of the guys. And last show I was at, and Jake the Snake was sitting next to me, and Jimmy Hart was on the other side. But those guys had their own private rooms. I was the only guy that had their own private room, and no one wanted to talk to those guys. So they would come in to talk to me at a table, and I was kind of whatever. Back in those days, it was like, woo, I'm the big cheese. And they would come in, and they would have their clipboards, and they go, okay. They have all their questions, kind of like you are right now, and they go, what's your martial art? And I would look at them, and I go, I don't have martial arts. I'm not a martial artist. I told this guy, I'm blue in the face. I'm a wrestler. I've wrestled since I was 8 years old to current. That's what I do. And they go, and they're like going, well, what about? I go, don't get me wrong. Jiu-jitsu works. Boxing works. All this stuff works. I take a little bit from everything that works, defend against it, and use it. I mix it all together. And more than one, they with their little pens and paper and all the shit, they go, so it's kind of like mix. You mix everything, mixed martial arts. And I go, exactly. I mean, it must have said it 10 times to different reporters. And that's where mixed martial arts come from. If you guys want to fucking have a dispute over it, who cares? I don't give a fuck. But that's where it came from. Nobody else was around saying this stuff. You think Hoist Gracie was going, martial arts in Portuguese? No. All these guys, and they would all write it down. I like that, mixed martial arts. And they would write it down. All from Esquire magazine all the way to local newspapers. And so that's where mixed martial arts came from. If you don't believe it, if you don't want to believe that I made it up, I don't care. Who gives a rat's ass? So that's where it came from. And that's how all that came about. Like no one knew. No one knew.
Let's dial it in. Let's get it come full circle here.
Yeah.
Contract negotiations with WCW.
Yeah.
How do they reach out to you?
Well,
was it Dave Thomas again?
No, Dave Thomas is insignificant. And by the way, weird things in the world like psychic stuff. Guess who I get correspondence from after the thing? And he definitely didn't see the show. Eddie Ruiz? Yes.
Really?
And he's not in a good state. He's gonna make it. He had a speed bump, but he's gonna make it. But it's sad. But his story should
be told, though. Could we agree on that?
Yeah, and you might be giving him a little weight. And like when you said something, when it comes to being fucking hardcore, that guy couldn't hold a candle to my toenails. That's just the way it is. Eddie was like a freshman, and I was a senior. I took him under my wing. His brother's a year or two under. I don't know necessarily if that was a good thing for him to see how.
He certainly saw the world a different way afterward.
Yes,
that's for sure.
Especially when we went to high school house parties and stuff like that.
His brother does real estate.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. I found his brother on Facebook. Okay.
Yeah, and so he is Eddie's Eddie, but he has speed bump almost tragically. But he's still here, and that's all that matters. So I don't want to get into the depths of that kind of stuff. But so Eddie and all them, I forgot how I digressed onto that, but I was talking about something and I had to bring
conversations with WCW. How does it start?
So we were so the phone rings and it's Bruce Buffer. And Buffer's like, hey, what's going on? And I'm like, not much. And he's all, well, I got an idea. You ever think about fucking wrestling? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Fuck, I'll do it. Whatever.
Yeah, what's it pay? Yeah, what's it pay? Right.
And I said, sure, I'm in. And you get to live like a fucking rock star and go on private jets and go all around the nation. Fuck, sounds great to me. But so we ended up pushing it along. I met him at a restaurant.
So was it Bruce? Bruce helped you with it, huh?
Well, no. Well, he started the ball rolling. Yes, I do everything myself. And so we ended up going down that path and kind of ran into a roadblock. And I was like, wow, that was a good little fantasy for a while. And then that would have been WCW, as Michael was doing their shows.
Michael Buffer. Yeah, they used to bring him in for the Monday Night Wars when they were.
Yeah. When it was flying. And so that came kind of to a halt. And it was like, well, we're interested, but, not now. And I was like, wow, that was kind of a jack off. And I had my little fantasies of what life is like in that situation. And it turns out that it far surpassed what I thought it would be like.
Really?
But at that point, I was like, oh, okay. And they said, well, we'll get back to you in a couple months or whatever. And Vince showed up at Anaheim.
Okay, so WWE and WCW are now interested.
Well, not quite. I had to go meet him. And so I went to Anaheim.
Are you talking Vince Russo or are you talking about Vince McMahon?
Vince McMahon.
Wow.
It was WWF.
That's fucking huge, dude.
Yeah. Well, I was, like I said, I was the UFC.
Yeah.
And I'm not full of my shit. All these fucking kid comment clown idiots. No, I fucking deal. I was there, man. And I'm not making this.
Fuck them. Tell us about Vince,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so I go and I meet JR.
Okay.
I had no idea who the fuck he was. I had no
influential
idea.
Guy. Okay.
Yeah, well, he was a head of talent, I guess, at the time. And I had no idea who. Basically, I knew who Hulk Hogan was. I got in the ring with my heavyweight wrestler from junior college, and we wrestled a match in Anaheim, by the way. And it wasn't the Pond; it was a different arena, and it's on my Instagram. But and my heavyweight got arrested for that. But so I go meet them, and we meet in the hotel there in the bar. And I was just talking to them, and they were like, oh, well, whatever. They're poker faced. And then they said, oh, well, you know what? We'll fly you out in a couple of weeks. And I said, okay.
So you did a dark match, and now the negotiations are, you said with the heavyweight. No? Okay, you just showed up with the heavyweight. Okay.
No,
okay.
That I came out of the audience for that show.
Okay.
We were drinking some tequila. And me and my heavyweight wrestler from junior college, we used to do professional wrestling matches before practice started.
Okay.
Not knowing what the fuck we were doing. So we go to the real Hulk Hogan was there and Andre and all that, to the real arena, and we're sitting up in the nosebleeds, and I go, come on, let's go down there and jump.
We got this. We got this. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's kind of like, okay, personality, follow you. And I go, come on, let's go. And I ran out there and jumped in the ring, and we did like an impromptu match. And the whole crowd was cheering, and it was pretty awesome. But then I powdered out on the other side, and they arrested him. But so then it goes on to meeting them at Anaheim, JR at the hotel. He invites me to come try out. And so I'm like, okay, I guess this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do wrestling. And I go there. And it wasn't how I thought it would be. It was, I had this vision of grandeur, like everything's going to be like what it turned out to be. But when I got there, Vince runs a tight ship. And so I go and do their matches, and I meet with them, and they talk, and they brought me in, and they were kind of trying to squeeze me. And I'm like looking at them like, what do you think you're talking to Tito here? Like I'm a fucking chimp. And I'm like, oh, well. And I omitted this by accident. When I knew that I was going to meet them, Eric Bischoff found out that I was going to meet them because those companies and
They have spies.
the talent mixes in it between each other. And so everybody, hey, who's going up north, that kind of stuff. So Eric found out that I was going up north. And Eric was the one that says, yeah, we want him, but not right now. He's not ready for us in our show now. It's going to have to be a couple months down the road. Well, he found out that I was going up north, as they call it. And he called me up at my house. It was before cell phones. And I was like, whoa, like Eric Bischoff fucking called me at my house. This is crazy. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, this is Eric Bischoff. And I'm like, yeah, hey, Eric. And he's all, yeah, I heard you're going up north. And I'm like, what the fuck's that mean? Especially back in those days.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, up north, I was fucking going to San Francisco or something. And he's like, WW, I think it was F at the time. And I'm like, yeah. And I go, yeah. He goes, well, go check it out. And he goes, if you're into big buildings and glam and all that kind of stuff, that's the place for you. He goes, I have the favor for you. He goes, just don't sign anything, and I'll fly you out as soon as you get home out to see me in Atlanta. And I said, okay. And so I did my little thing, and then they were grinding me like I was Tito. And I was just like going, oh, well. And then I get up to leave. And I go, I'm talking to Eric. And they go, whoa, hey, whoa, stop. Stop before you move any further. Come back in here. Let me tell you some more. And I'm like going, oh, wow, okay. So we go back in there and they sweeten up the pot. And I said, all right, well, I'm not going to say yes or no. I just whatever. So they had like a town car and the whole 9 yards to pick me up at the airport and all that kind of stuff. So I get home. I spent an extra couple of days in the city, and there in Stanford, I went back to the city and was partying with Isaacs, and then flew home and took a shower. Didn't realize that was going to become my life later, but took a shower and got on a plane and flew out to Atlanta. They had all the bells and whistles. Eric does it right. He knows what he's doing. Picked me up in a limo and had all the stuff done. He's like, hey, how did up north go? His poker face and the hem and haw. And he said, well, let me tell you what I'm thinking. And I'm sitting there going, oh, now that's singing the song I wanted to hear from them. And
what did he present to you? Yeah, what did he present?
It was well worth my while.
Okay, anyway. You're talking about finances. Okay, so it was money. Okay.
Everything. Travel, everything.
To the benefit of you going to WCW rather than WWE, there was no house shows with WCW at that time. It was all for TV.
There was house shows.
There was dark shows?
Yeah, house shows. Their dark shows are not on TV and before their dark matches before the show starts.
Okay, but there's not full dark shows.
They have house
that
shows.
Time.
House shows, yeah.
Oh, see, I gave bad information. All right, so did you ever go to the power plant?
Yeah, I stayed there for like 5-6 weeks.
So
I lived in Atlanta, and I would fly home on the weekends, and I lived in Atlanta for 5 weeks to learn how to wrestle.
Who was it? Was it Norman Smiley? Who was there?
That was a little guy named Sarge.
Okay.
I think his name's Colonel Parker or something, whatever. He's a little dude. And just there was different wrestlers that came in that trained with me. And it was kind of Paul Orndorff ran the Mr. Wonderful.
Man, super cool guy. Yeah. Dude, I liked Orndorff growing up. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, and then Dusty Rhodes was kind of like walking in and out. And Dusty took me under his wing a little bit.
Okay,
and
so you're
Arn Anderson.
Oh, dude, he's legends.
Wow.
All legends right there.
Horseman.
Okay, so you're a California guy. Rick Bassman is also somebody from the pro wrestling world that lives in Cali.
Yeah, he had nothing to do with it.
Nothing at all, huh? Okay. I see on his Wikipedia there's a couple MMA guys listed that he'd worked with. You're not one of them.
No,
okay.
I've worked with him. I've done things with Pride with him and stuff like that. And the last show with Vegas, things here and there. Did nothing like a wrestling contract or anything.
Okay. All right.
How was the training at the power plant? You hear nightmare stories about how tough it was. How'd you take it?
Well, you have to realize I already made my name.
Right.
And I was not trying to make a name. So these guys power plant guys are working their asses off trying to get recognized in a name. So I already had all that cleared out. So
were they fair to you, or did they resent the fact that you had already made your name and you weren't coming in at the bottom?
Well, it was a little bit of both, and you have to be smart, like you don't throw it in their face and just keep your mouth shut.
Because the rumor was you walked into the locker room and you kind of let everybody know who they were and who you were.
No.
You did that at UFC 5.
No.
With the UFC locker room.
The UFC 6.
Well, in Puerto Rico.
Oh, UFC.
What the fuck? You were in Puerto Rico kicking it off.
No, in UFC 5 was in Charlotte.
I apologize for the UFC Puerto Rico show.
That was in the cocktail party.
But like, you're no stranger to allowing people to know, hey man, anybody that wants some, anytime, anywhere.
Well,
did you have that attitude in that wrestling locker room from the beginning?
Well, fighting to me is like walking the dogs. I don't give a rat's ass. But no, I never made a ruckus. I don't know where these people like to make up these fantasy things about.
We're clearing it up.
That's what I'm saying. These fantasy things of like, oh, he's a beer drinking, fucking doesn't train, smokes cigarettes and all that shit. That's Don Fry. That's not me.
It's true.
It's
a compliment. Don is saying thank you for that.
I don't smoke cigarettes. Anyways, so they make all this bullshit stories up and that's right. And then because they're such fighting expert dilettantes, he just trained a little bit. You imagine what he would be? Oh my God. You go fucking, come the fuck on.
Okay.
You're not ever going to kick my ass. You never were. All these clowns live in this fantasy world and never fight. I thought about it. I've been arraigned. That means standing in front of a fucking judge for street fighting at least 10 times in my life. At least. And if I really dug deep, I could come up with more. And I'll tell you what, none of that, the fights and all that kind of stuff, the only reason why I got thrown in jail, none of that was because I went up and beat up people. And when I tell you I was 200 street fights, if I just went up and beat up people, all these times I was arraigned, all of them got dropped because I had a very good attorney that would go to find the truth. His name is Jerry Riopel, if you're ever in trouble, although he is retired. He's like the Johnny Cochran of Orange County. But he said he would come out of retirement if I ever needed to be represented again. But those days,
you may have paid for his house, Tank.
So long gone. But he's a hell of an attorney. The only time I got in trouble and I had to do 180 days is because I beat up some fucking guy that was beating his girlfriend up and his dad was a con.
Yeah.
And I took it to trial and I lost because he wouldn't represent me on that trial. I had to get another attorney. But the point is, I didn't bully people. I didn't beat people up. Everybody that I beat up was trying to beat me up. And Jerry Riopelle showed the DA that was a fact, and they would drop the cases. So none of this bullshit about me being a bully and being in 200 street fights. So I drove around town and said, hey, let's stop and beat up that guy in the corner just because I don't like the shirt he's wearing. It's like ridiculous.
Okay. So you go to WCW.
Yeah.
Your introduction is in the first row. You're getting interviewed by Mean Gene Okerlund. And the rumor was that
I used to party with Mean Gene all the time. Miss you, Mean.
Yeah.
Dude, was he the greatest? The absolute greatest.
Talk about drinking every day. I got to drink with him like 3 times a week at the bar, at the thing, and talking. He was safe because there's no politics and with a commentator. You couldn't do that with another wrestler because, now you're a clique. But Gino was safe, and so I just sit with Gino and hear all the Andre stories.
Yeah, he just brilliant guy, brilliant mind.
Yeah,
so
it was great times.
You're in the audience, you're getting interviewed, and then Rick Steiner comes in, and you guys have it's your introduction to WCW. The rumor was that Kevin Sullivan sent him out there to actually hit you.
Yeah.
Was there heat between you and the writing? It was Kevin Sullivan and Vince Russo that were the main writers at this time. Was there? Did you get along with those guys?
Yeah.
Vince Russo?
I don't want to ruin this for you. It's called professional wrestling.
Yeah. No, for sure. But Vince Russo, if you kind of look at your career trajectory and people that really study WCW in that era, all fingers kind of point towards him in regards to somebody that may have not made the best career choices for you.
No, he didn't even know I existed. I know.
I had trouble believing that.
No, he had me. As I tell you, very political arena. And if you didn't know how to navigate through that, that's on you. That's probably why I was the only one that made it through that place. Anyways, Vince Russo had so much heat from everyone because he was coming in from up north, and he had his own ideas and his own thing, and he had me written in as champion. I was going to win the brawl for all thing. I didn't even know about it. And there was almost a mutiny going to happen, and 3 wrestlers, I forget their names, all quit and went up north because of it. And then that's all the way down to the Sid Vicious. I wrestled for the world championship, heavyweight world championship, against Sid Vicious. And you talk about me, other yahoos on here calling me a flop. I don't see you in there wrestling for the world title.
So where do you think the backstage pushback against you, where would it have come from?
It was just resentment because I was not a wrestler. I didn't come from the wrestling world. And like Hogan said to me, I don't like to talk about him. He said, hey, he goes, all the boys like you, say you're really a cool dude. He goes, let me tell you something, brother. But he didn't say it that, but he's like, I just want to let you know that I don't like anybody that doesn't come from our business. And he goes, but all the boys like you, think you're cool. I think you're cool. Let's party. Let's have a good time. Right on. And I'm like, all right, cool. And, he was the boss. He had creative control. He
had Bischoff's ear, that's for sure. And
part of his contract is he had creative control. He ran the show basically.
Yeah, I don't think Bischoff would have had. I'm not going to say had the ability, because Bischoff could have done anything he wanted, obviously.
Yeah.
But a lucrative contract with all the bells and whistles you know that conversation took place between Hogan and Bischoff before that contract was presented to you. Had to.
I don't know that for sure. I have no idea. I just know that Eric changed my life.
Cool.
How many years was the contract for when you signed?
3.
So,
and I said 3 years. And he goes, trust me, be over before you know it. And he was right.
So, you and Sullivan, or you and Steiner have some heat, which was cool. I thought that was awesome. Like, and you were like two characters that eventually flipped into we're on the same team.
I believe that was Eric's idea.
I like that. I like that a lot. Steiner brothers are legit. Both of them. Yeah. Super legit.
Yeah, both of them are cool guys too.
Yeah. So shortly after your arrival to WCW, you cut a promo calling out Bill Goldberg. Like, you literally just got there. And on the way out, you beat up commentator Mark Madden. Yeah. So you got you being a heel, you got Mark Madden as the heel announcer, and then you beat up heel versus heel. And some people kind of parlay that into Vince Russo being a little bit clueless in regards to character development in regards to that of yourself. Is that fair?
Yeah, well, yeah, and you're starting to get into some crazy ass plot lines and everything else, and everybody has a great idea about everything. I try to stay as much as possible away from that. I would show up and do whatever I had to do. I had a solid contract. I wasn't going to get over any more or any less, or get any more money or any less money if I was the world champion or the loser to the world champion. It didn't make any difference to me. So for these guys that grew up in the business, and that's what they were, their pedigrees, they come from other wrestlers, that mattered to them. I was there for 3 years, and a lot of the time I could sit at home. I'm still getting paid.
Do you got a light that you can turn on? It's starting to get
real. I was just about to say, hey, Ruben, can you turn that light on over there? I have a guy coming over here. I'm signing some cards. So I'm going to give him a plug for anybody else who wants some signed cards out there.
Yeah, let's see it. Can we see one?
Well, I'm going to read it because they just wrote it down.
Yeah, go ahead, please, dude. Absolutely.
It's on the What's Up, What Not app. And you use the name Slap for Cash.
Okay, Slap for Cash, and then what do they...
like that Dana White thing? Where they slap. No, that's what it's. He used to do that.
Okay. So
his name's Adam Hutchinson, and he is a Slap for Cash on the What's Not app. Cool dude, signing all these cards that he had made of me. Seems like forever and a day. Get a good wide picture of me, because next time you see me, my arm is going to be gone. No, I don't.
Can we see one?
Because I'm signing so much, my arm's going to fall off.
Can we see one? Would you mind? Okay. Cool. Dude, cool.
That's one of them.
That's good. Good.
Here's another one. The same one you guys used. Oh, no, this is one. Get the one with my face.
Yeah, I got you.
This one.
That's
and
cool.
The one you used for the...
After the first UFC.
Yeah.
That was yeah. Thanks for doing that, by the way.
Yeah. So you cut the promo, you beat up Mark Madden.
So, and then I was supposed to fight some hockey dude.
Okay, here we go. That's my next question. So Joey in Chicago.
Yeah.
WCW's here. Tank is looking for somebody in the audience to beat up. He grabs one of the owners of the Chicago Blackhawks, who's very kind of
robust.
Large. He's a big dude.
He's robust.
Tank picks him up, turns him upside down, and picks him up over the fence, walks him upside down, walks him over to the ring and puts him in the ring.
Yeah.
And then Bob Probert, legendary NHL enforcer, jumps into the ring. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the night. And he's lucky I'm a strong guy because
dude,
that's like carrying a sack of potatoes.
Dude, he was $3. He was every bit of $3.
But and I'll tell you what, when you're a big guy like that, and you're dead assing and not helping out and making yourself lighter than you should be, it took some work. I was so scared I was going to drop him, but I didn't.
Very cool.
Bob Probert, legendary drinker, legendary street fighter.
Yeah.
I heard you two went out drinking or had some issues in the locker room afterward.
Professional wrestling, brother. I that's what you heard.
Okay.
I don't remember it, but
did you get along with Bob? I mean, I know he's passed. He's long since passed.
Who's that?
Bob Probert.
Oh, he passed away.
Yeah, a while ago.
Oh, I didn't know that. Rest in peace, my man.
Did you get along with him?
Well, you saw us. That's all I knew of him.
That's it?
Yeah.
And then that angle completely died.
Yeah, well, so that's WCW was famous for that. And it was a monster without a head.
What about Ed Ferreira, the main consultant for Vince Russo?
Yeah. Let's put it this way. I got along with everybody in professional wrestling. Everybody was cool. One guy I hate, and I don't like to bring up horoscopes or anything like that, but I'm a Taurus, and I'm very patient. And I was just waiting for the right day to be in this bathroom with this guy, because I guarantee you he'd still be in there.
So at this
you don't want to know who it is?
I'd love to, dude. Yeah, please.
Terry Taylor, the Red Rooster.
The Red Rooster. That's the guy you didn't like.
I hate that fucker. He doesn't even know why I hate him, and he never will, but I do.
Did you find out something that he may have been doing behind your back?
Oh, well,
I mean, that's the business.
There was a lot of things he was doing. I knew that, but no, he has no idea what he did. But I still carry a torch for that guy.
Huh.
Comeback match.
Yeah.
Personal.
Maybe we could put over in Bare Knuckle when Bare Knuckle comes to Arizona.
That fucking candy ass Red Rooster bitch. That guy is a clown. That's all I can tell you.
So
and I'm not alone. A lot of people hate that guy. That's the only reason why I brought his name up.
So Terry was on the creative team. There's a few people here. Yeah, Terry Taylor, Eric Bischoff, Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash.
And I love
Glenn
Eric.
Gilbert.
I love Eric, and I think Eric likes Terry. No one knows why I don't like Terry, and no one's ever going to know. But I don't like him, and he needs to pay.
Okay, here. Was it just I don't like you horoscope type thing like you had mentioned, or was there an actual thing that took place?
Over a girl?
No. Come on now.
Stiffed you? Kind of ribbed you?
The days of getting mad over a girl fucking left in my 20s. But no.
Disco Inferno, Glenn Gilberti was also.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Everybody in wrestling is cool, because you have to be. Unless you're over the top it behooves you to be a good guy.
Okay. All right, I'm going to be real direct here. January 16, 2000, a few days prior to the sold-out WCW pay-per-view, Vince Russo mentions that they should put the belt briefly around your waist and then drop it right after. Did the pushback come from Terry Taylor?
No. This has something to do It has nothing to do with, it has to do with my family.
Okay.
It has nothing.
Yeah. Leave it alone. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave it alone. Okay. Because shortly thereafter, Vince Russo gets demoted to the creative team.
Yeah, well, probably. I stayed out of that politics. You know, one of the first things any wrestler said to me, I went to did that little thing with Steiner and all that, and I went to Buffalo, Baltimore after that. A couple of weeks later, you know, I can late the times nowadays. And Sid Vicious, I don't know if you know who that is.
Of course, Psycho Sid, bro. Are you kidding me?
But I don't know if you ever seen him in person.
It's huge.
Giant fucking gang. And they brought
and a street fighter. He's also a street fighter.
I don't know, him and Arn Anderson, I guess, got into it. But
yeah,
he was stretching, getting ready to go out way before, you know, and behind the curtains and everything, it's kind of dark back there. And he's stretching, and I obviously was with what the hell's the guy's name? The Steiners, Rick.
Yeah.
And so he's all, hey, and he's over in the thing stretching. So I walk over there, and they brought out all my guys that I used to walk out with the WCW or UFC, not WCW. And he's all, hey man, it looks like you're going to be around here for a while. And I go, yeah, that's what it says. And he goes, oh, okay, so you're going to be around. I go, yeah. And he goes, let me tell you something. And I'm all, yeah, what do you want to tell me? He goes, nobody here's your friend.
It's true.
Yeah. And I said, yeah. And I was still naive at the time. And he goes, keep your mouth shut. Don't trust anything about anybody says. Don't do anything.
Solid advice, man.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I was all ears. And I'm like, okay, thanks for the info. And I kind of lived by that in my professional wrestling career. I tried to, hey, hi, bye, how you doing? All right on, man. Good luck to you. It's all.
Solid advice. Yeah, solid advice. Huh. Yeah.
And you know what? We'll come full circle. We'll cut it up real short. But back to Russo putting the belt on me and Sullivan and all that kind of stuff. So they decide the battle royale wasn't going to happen, all that kind of stuff, because the guys are quitting and saying this is bullshit, and I wasn't pedigree and I didn't earn it, and I wasn't a wrestler, I'm not from the wrestling. So they're gonna let me win against Sid Vicious. Never had an angle with him, never did anything with him, all the way up. I'm going to win it, and I'm going to get the strap in Minneapolis. And so there's a protocol to everything. They call you up, they let you know, all this kind of stuff.
That's quite an honor. Quite an honor, man. Yeah.
Right. So before that, I was supposed to win the strap, and I had no idea about it. When I get to the arena, you know, you fly out, everything's cool, you know, fucking everything you can imagine is taken care of, and you get to the gym or the arena, and I'm walking through the arena with my bag, and all the guys, collectively known as the boys, are all going, hey, they're going to put the strap on you? And I'm like, oh, I just flew in from fucking California.
Who me?
Yeah, right. Exactly right. I'm like, what the fucking strap? What are you kidding me? And they're like, you don't know?
You really don't get involved. That's so smart. It's actually really smart, man.
And so I go, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And this is 2 weeks before that. I don't want to conflate these two things together. And so they're all like, he doesn't know anything about it. They never called him. They didn't do anything. So there was a backlash of everything. And then they somehow, some way, they did say Tank's gonna fucking fight Sid, and he's gonna do the job for Tank, and he's gonna get the strap. They called me up, and they told me all this was gonna happen. I'm like, wow. And I would go home and party. I would go. Oh, I got addicted to living in hotels and shit, man. It was fun as fuck. And I would go up to Sunset and live in the Argyle and fucking party crazy. And there used to be a strip club down there called Crazy Girls. I'd go in there and get crazy. But anyways, so it's all long gone nowadays, even the hotel. Anyways, but I was burning it up, man, fucking crazy. So I fly back in the thing, and I got all the phone call and everything. Go to Minneapolis, where the mecca of professional wrestling is, thinking I'm getting the strap. They called me all the way down to the beginning of the show. The show's going on, and Sullivan, and it was just Sullivan and somebody else that was a no-name with the headphones on. Hey, come here. And I'm thinking I'm going to be the last match of the night, which I was. But so, there's a lot of show going on. And Sid's in there. And he goes, hey, man. And he goes, I know you thought you were going to get the strap and everything. Not going to happen. And I'm like, all right, whatever. It made absolutely rat's ass big difference to me. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Fuck their heads up.
Yeah. No. And then Sid sitting there with a big smile on his face, like, I told you so. Like, not like I got you, but it was like, I told
somebody
you,
else
man.
got you. Yeah, somebody else got you. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't care. I didn't want to carry. The thing weighs 16 pounds, according to folklore, and you have to carry it around in the airport and shit. And I was actually going, I don't want to carry that fucking thing around.
Do you know how many actual champions actually say that? All of them. Yeah. Actual champions. Like not guys that want to be champions. I was almost an actual champion. Yeah, that's a veteran thing to say.
Oh yeah. Right. So, but other than that, I just kept. Everybody wanted to party with me by the end of the night because I can get down. I don't get drunk and crazy, and but
you hold court. You hold a good court.
Yeah. And I'm not some histrionic kind of guy that's like, hey, those guys that are histrionic over sickening. The histrionic people disgust me, man. It's like, you're not on stage everywhere, man. Just relax. Okay?
You talking about Brian Pillman?
Well, I never met Pillman. He was
okay.
He was gone. But
it definitely falls in that category.
There's a lot of fighters like that you're just like, take a chill pill, man. You're not on stage.
Yeah, it's just me. It's just me. We can talk. Yeah. We can talk. You're not cutting a promo. It's just me.
And I'm not going to name names, but they're all like, hey, man, I know, right? Yeah, whoa, dude. And you're like, oh
fuck, I got to be in the car with you? Yeah. Right.
There's therapy for histrionic personality disorder. You may want to work on that.
Let me throw some names at you. Head of security, Doug Dillinger.
He didn't affect my life whatsoever.
Fuck, dude, I thought I was gonna get him. I thought it's what it is. He got paid over there. He got paid. You know what I mean? They paid their bills.
Yeah. I got a name for you. You had a couple of matches with Jerry Flynn. What was he like? He fought a little bit of MMA. He was Bart Dale's buddy.
He was a
Florida
cool
guy.
Dude. Jerry was really cool. Really cool dude. Yeah,
Art Vale guy, right? Yeah.
Art Vale's buddy.
Yeah, no, he was always cool. Like all these, everybody that wrestled was cool. I had one guy that I hate, and that's the only guy.
Yeah. All right. What about Mark Madden? Did you like him?
Yeah, he was cool, dude.
What about Scott Hudson?
Don't know who he is.
So Scott Hudson replaced Tony Schiavone for a little bit. There was a little bit of backstage drama. Dude. I thought I had good ones here. What about Chris Cruz? Do you remember Chris Cruz?
I don't know.
I
might know their faces and the highs and buys, but I don't.
I mean, you ripped the shirt off Madden, so of course you'd know him.
Yeah. No, he you know what? Madden seemed, I don't know if it's professional wrestling, but Madden generally seemed like he was a fan of mine.
Generally seemed like what?
He was a fan of mine. Like
he was a Pittsburgh. He was a Pittsburgh DJ. He was a DJ from Pittsburgh. Yeah.
He had some heat with some guys that I didn't understand, but I didn't ever question him about it. I just go, whatever. If you didn't walk around, it's the antithesis of fighting, professional wrestling. It is actual antithesis. There's like fighting is ego-based bullshit. I'm badass, I'm tough, and trying to get over, like, scare people and stuff. This is, come on. And wrestling, they all know it's a fucking business and a work. And I got not one bad, that only one guy, and that's because he did something that
personal.
Yeah.
Personal. We'll call it personal.
And he didn't get over on anybody. He doesn't even know what he did, and he's gonna pay someday. I'm not dead yet.
So February 20th, 2000, SuperBrawl 2000. That's the name. Yeah. You're supposed to have a match against Mark Coleman. They're bringing Coleman in. This was what I found on research. Is that not true at all?
Don't even know Coleman. Don't know any. Nothing. Not a.
Anyway, let me interrupt your take. Joey, some of these YouTubers, they just made
a whole documentary about it. Yeah,
they just make shit up, and I'm like, how the fuck? Like, I would know this. I mean, right. I'm an MMA guy.
Yeah,
they make shit up, and then they release it as if it's fact.
They do.
Yeah,
I knew
about me being broke, and I seen one where I'm broke, and I had a heart transplant, and all this shit. And I'm like, okay.
All right, so SuperBrawl happens. Your opponent, do you have an opponent that pulls out, and then you bring in Big Al? How does this come about?
So that goes down to management not knowing what was going on. Eric was he was I can't speak for him, but he was disenchanted with everything.
Who's he?
Eric
Bischoff. This was at a time when things were slipping away. That's for sure.
And I wasn't privy to anything, so I don't know anything about his business or anything like that. But they didn't have anybody running the show, and they had me fighting. They had me penciled in on the pay-per-view, and they didn't have anybody for me to have an angle against. And they're like freaking out, like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? And so they came up to me, and I go, that's your job, man. I'm just supposed to get in there and act like Tank.
But punch a guy and leave. Like a
easiest gimmick in the world. I didn't have to take any bombs. And so I'm like, I don't know, man. I go, you know what you could do? I go, I got a friend, Big Al. I go, you could have him come in here and call me a sellout, and we could fight over my UFC jacket, which has a big UFC patch on the back, and it's got Bird's Vietnam patches and a POW patch. And I go, I used to wear it for the UFC. I go, and we could have a jacket match,
Wait a minute. So the jacket on a pole match was your idea? Because, I mean, Joey, just for the pro wrestling purists, Vince Russo takes a lot of heat because he always has something on a pole. Like he's done a million different something on a pole type matches. And this was not his idea, he claimed. Now we know
then
he's telling the truth.
Okay. I said to them, I think it was Arn. Arn was the agent. They have these agents and they tell you what's going to happen. And Arn comes up to me. He's all, hey, Tanker. And Arn's the coolest guy ever. And I'm like, yeah, Arn. He goes, I have to tell you, I can't help you. And I'm like, because he would go, okay, we got to put a match together. And they would go over your moves and what you're going to do and how I.
Yeah.
Okay. He goes, I can't help you. And I'm like, what? And he goes, I'm sorry, bro. And he goes, but everything's crazy right now, and they don't want me to help you put a match together.
Okay, so who do you think wanted you to fail, if you had to guess?
It wasn't, it had nothing to do with me. And so maybe because Eric brought me in, maybe they wanted.
So they wanted Eric to fail. Okay,
yeah, maybe that's a big. I don't know. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll put the match together. Some guy who doesn't know his head from his ass from professional wrestling. I go, I guess I could put a match together. So I put a match together. And when you see me climbing up the rope or the pole, that's why it was a pole match. Al was going to take a bump off of me standing on the top rope. I was going to throw him over my back. He was down for it. I was like, you're fucking crazy. And I dropped him.
Yeah. Thank God. Dude, you could have fucked him up, man.
Yeah, exactly. He would have got fucked up bad. Anyways, but we were dumb. And and so he and then he stepped on my match and my face. And I used to do that all the time with his boots. And you could stand on my head and I could take it. And so
Hey, Joey, wait, 1 second. Joey, can you imagine practicing that?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Ted. Go ahead.
Weird way to make a living, but
just stand on my head. Let me see what happens.
He stands on my face, but they didn't have the cameras because they didn't know what we were going to do. So if Arn would have put the thing there, he goes, they have a camera right there in the corner so you could actually see him standing on his face. They didn't do any of that shit. So the director didn't know what was going on. Arn didn't know what was going on. No one knew what was going on. And so they had my jacket up there on the pole. So he falls down off the side. I'm like, oh shit, what do I do now? Am I gonna climb down there and start fucking beating on him? He doesn't know how to take bumps and he doesn't know how to fucking get hit and that kind of stuff.
He just got dragged into this. Right.
Yes. Yeah. And so I like, oh, fuck it. I'll just grab the jacket. And so I'm grabbing the jacket. I remembered I have a fucking knife in my jacket. This is my fucking jacket. I'll fucking cut your fucking heart out and stick it in your mouth where you hit the ground. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'll fucking pull the knife out. And I pulled the knife out and I have it in my hand. I'm like, fuck. So I had to go down there and I jumped down there and I put it next to his neck. And I said, I'd fucking kill you if I wanted to, that kind of thing. Before the match, so we put the match together. I'm sitting there. I'm like, it's a big pay-per-view thing, and we're in San Francisco, and Bird, we used to have a van called the War Wagon, and it was kind of a live-in van conversion type thing. Mm-hmm. And so he was parked in the parking garage, and I said, hey, Al, I know you're fucking down for doing this match. I go, but it can get pretty fucking nerve-wracking. And I go, I know you think it's no big deal, but I'm telling you, I've done this. It's a fucking.
It can be.
It's a big deal. I can get to you
for sure.
I go, let me know, and I go, we'll go out to Bird's van and we'll drink some cocktails. It'll ease your nerves. Anyways, we ended up going out there and drinking for a good couple hours. So we had a little buzz going on.
I'm sure that went over well. Okay. And you know,
so,
I guarantee no one told on you either. I mean, they were fucking
no one
telling
even knew. So anyways, so the whole match goes down, and then we go, and you go back to the hotel, and everybody in the fucking hotel is kind of like stunned, not shunned, stunned vibe. And some office girls come up to me and go, "Hey, Tank, what's going on?" I'm like, "Not much." And they're like, "That was like the most craziest violent match we've ever seen." Because we were punching each other for reals.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah." And I go, "Yeah, that was pretty crazy." And I go, "Oh, well, it's what it is. And so
doesn't give a shit. Doesn't give a shit. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, so then they're like saying, "Well,
they're still talking about it today. They're still talking about this match."
And so, like the craziest match I ever saw, and it didn't go over good because the camera angles were all fucked up. So, anyways, some of the office guys come walking up, and they're like, "Hey, we got to talk. Like, do you fucking pull the knife out, a weapon, and all that kind of stuff? This is bad. This is so bad. It's crazy."
Well, because it wasn't in a garbage can with a bat wrapped in barbed wire?
Exactly.
What? Where?
That's why Shivani said he got salad tongs. They're trying to downplay it because it was bad. And
Shivani's a good dude. I mean, if he's saying salad tongs, Shivani's your guy. Whether you like him or not, he's now your friend. Yeah.
Well, he was a show's friend. And so they go, "Okay." So I go, "Well, let me tell you something. I put the match together. This is my whole match. That's my brainchild." And I go, "So I go to talk to Arn. I talked to anybody that was an agent. And all of them said, 'I can't help you. Sorry, bro.'"
You should have blamed it on Terry Taylor. Hey, Terry Taylor told me.
Taylor told me.
It's his idea. He demanded. He gave me the knife.
What? I would have buzzed up to it. And they're like, "What?" And I go, "Nobody. I had no agent. I had no one helping me. This is all me. It's like me going, 'Hey, go out and fight in the fucking cage. Go do this.' And you're going to go, 'What? I don't know what I'm doing.' Same. And they all went, 'Oh,' like all of us, like, 'Oh, this was a big FU to somebody from somewhere on the upper end of the scale.'" And that's how that match went down.
So that's Big Al's first pro wrestling match. It's on live TV.
Yeah.
Was he well compensated? Did he get paid well for it at least?
Did he even have a contract?
It's all relative. No, they just gave him a thing. He made all right. He did all right.
You would think, in all honesty, did you ever think about maybe picking somebody else out of the locker room?
No, because the angle wouldn't work. It was all about the UFC.
And Heenan sold it too. Heenan did a good job.
Al went to New York and cut a promo saying, "I came here to watch this fake shit, and Tank's a fucking sellout. Fucking take his jacket."
So you gave him a real fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was what they wanted.
Which is what they got. Yeah.
And then because it was so brutal and over the top with a knife.
Dude, it is pretty brutal. Tank, it is. It is pretty brutal.
And those punches were real with the belt. And I'll tell you this. So it was a big mystery. What are you going to do in the fucking match at the pay-per-view? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? All the wrestlers. And I'm like going, "Oh, I don't know." I go, I think I'm gonna get Al to fucking take his belt off, and we're gonna lace ourselves up and punch each other.
Pull a knife on him. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was thinking.
Yeah. And
nobody said no. Nobody said no.
They're like going, "Oh, okay." And these wrestlers are all in cliques and they're all friends with all the way up the thing. And you know, on the same fucking big fight of the night was, I think, Flair versus Hogan. And you see the first thing they did? They wrapped themselves up with them fucking Indian whips. They tied themselves together. Just like, who tied themselves together earlier? They tried to steal our thunder. That's professional wrestling 101. I shouldn't have, whoever I told I was going to lace my hands up, I figured none of those guys got balls to really punch each other in the face with their hands tied together.
What do you, it's just that match? How do you think Hulk Hogan, what do you think he thought of that, your match with Big Al?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. Hogan was a cool dude. I got not bad. A lot of people had a bad thing to say about him. He was a totally cool dude on every level.
That's actually cool. That's actually nice to hear. Yeah. So,
I mean, you know what? Just because that guy was successful and all that kind of stuff is all a bunch of narcissistic bullshit, because they're not. Oh, so somebody that is successful, you're gonna put down.
Nah, good for you. Yeah,
exactly. They're good for Hogan, man.
Especially if you're getting paid. Like if you're getting paid,
yeah,
you know, the fuck, your bills are getting met.
Yeah.
You're not doing house shows on a Wednesday and a Friday and a Sunday. You're not wrestling 6 times a week. With your TV appearance on Monday.
Well, those guys did.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So Vince Russo puts the strap around David Arquette, the actor.
Yeah.
To me, that seemed like a territorial pissing of some sort. Just kind of like, fuck you, I'm Vince Russo. And then on May 1st, 2000, you lay down to Arquette.
What's that?
You laid down to David Arquette.
Yeah. I don't even remember, but yeah, I guess so.
What was it? Did it, the conversations, was there pushback on your end, or did you just take the assignment and do it?
Everything was whatever you want me to do. I had to fucking.
Oh, fuck.
He told me I had to go out there naked. I go, sure, all right.
As long as the checks keep coming.
Joey,
I was getting paid. I was getting paid, compensated. I would have skipped out there and neutered a jaybird.
Joey, I tell you, the brass, whatever bullshit, because they all talk shit. Like the politics behind the scenes of pro wrestling is 90% of what takes, and 10% is what happens on TV in regards to those politics. Whatever wheels were moving against Tank, the upper management could say, well, he's never said no.
Yeah.
Like
that's right.
Wow. I respect that. So you lay down to David Arquette. And then on June 5th, 2000, you're in Atlanta, Georgia, Bill Goldberg's hometown. Now, Bill Goldberg's an MMA mark, somebody that, although not an MMA fighter, somebody that's endeared himself to the community. Did you and Bill have a good relationship?
Yeah, Bill was cool. I flew home on his jet, private jet. Yeah. He was always cool. Jump in a limo, fucking ride home.
So you and Goldberg have a match in his hometown.
No.
Could you open up on that?
Don't really remember it.
It's a fucking huge deal, dude. It's a huge.
I remember the spear. I had to take the spear for like a week. You're talking about house shows, but so I had to wrestle him for like a week before the match, because they want to get all the things right, so you don't fuck up. But so I got a week of the spear and jackhammer before the fight.
Dude.
Is this during the famous Goldberg run where he has like 300 wins in a row? It's in the middle of that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, towards the tail end.
I think I wasn't part of the streak.
It was at the tail end, but
it was after the streak.
Joey, Rick Steiner comes in and hits Goldberg with a chair. I'm not saying it was intentional, but it definitely wasn't used correctly. Like it was meant almost to knock Goldberg out in his home city.
Oh,
a huge gash on the back of his head. Tank, you're very stone faced right now.
Yeah,
no comment.
No
I'm
comment.
Just listening. No, yeah, no, I don't remember it. I don't even know if I was around for it.
You were in the ring when Steiner cracked
maybe.
Goldberg with the chair, and he probably needed about a dozen stitches to close it.
Was that in Anaheim or
it was in Atlanta?
Oh yeah, no man. So you understand, life is moving
every week.
Life is moving so fast that you can't break down little snippets like that and go, oh, that was then. It was like on to the next thing. Next day, boom.
Blurs together.
All right.
Yeah.
We're obviously not pro wrestling guys, but I've seen interviews of people that claim that they're pro wrestling people. And this question's never been asked to anybody. And it's just mind blowing to me. You're in the ring. Goldberg's doing his thing. Rick Steiner comes with a chair. You're in Goldberg's home city. He just had that huge streak, super over. You mentioned private jet. Who knows what he's making a year? It appeared Steiner tried to knock him out with that chair.
Yeah.
And you know nothing about that. Am I correct?
Didn't even know it happened.
Okay. Hannibal appears to have like a brain injury when he does his interviews. I think that's like his style of interview. Just pretend like you've had like a lobotomy. Hannibal.
Hannibal's a cool dude.
He might be a cool dude, but his delivery, it seems like he's medicated. Hannibal, please ask that question. You're welcome.
He's Canadian.
Okay, that explains it.
Then I take everything back. That makes sense. So,
yeah, it's a true statement, by the way.
It's just like somebody with a half a brain. Just look at it. Shortly. Okay. So the rumor was that Russo was still trying to push you, like behind the scenes. Like he never gave up on that. But politically, he always had pushback against him at this time. And shortly after, Insane Clown Posse introduces the Juggalo title, where you and Vampiro goes from feuding with Sting, and now it's you.
I wish I would have known more about the ICP back in those days. I didn't.
They're pretty cool.
That was my first introduction to them, and then I got into the music, and I like their music. I like all sorts of different kinds of music. And I was a Scrubble.
I tell you, man, those guys put on a good show. They roasted you pretty good.
I went to one of their gatherings. I almost died there. I was on my. How awesome would that be to die at a fucking gathering of ICP? I was laying on the side of a hill out in the middle of Ohio or something. And man, I was in the last stages of cirrhosis, boy. I was getting towards the insanity version, and my body couldn't hang any further. But anyways, ICP, Violent J, Shaggy, whoop, whoop. Yeah.
They roasted him. Joey, I tell you, they roasted Tank in a way like professional, commentators. They did a great job. I mean, they kept it. They kept it like in a way to where it was like even the person on the receiving end of it would enjoy it. Right. Like it was good. It was good. Yeah.
That's cool.
I like those guys.
Yeah.
You Tank.
They got some witty songs.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, you don't want to get into a rib match with those guys. No. Fuck no. The one thing I'll say about you physically, your activity obviously is every week with WCW.
Yeah.
Physically, you look to be in the best shape that like
before I signed with them, I signed with Eric on St. Patrick's Day. I ran a marathon at Super Bowl. So whatever the spread is from the beginning of the Super Bowl at the beginning of February to whenever whatever the fucking St. Patrick's Day is.
March.
In 99, I ran a marathon. And some comment clown goes, "Oh, I find it hard to believe that Tank Abbott ran a marathon." Let me tell you something, all right? Come the fuck on. I used to run around Mile Square Park in Fountain Valley every day. I've ran my whole life. I'm a runner deep down inside. I used to love to get into that trance after you go for a little while.
Yeah.
And and then he's like, "Oh yeah," and then when I got out of the hospital after doing 107 days in ICU and recovery, halfway kind of hospital thing, 75 days from getting out from that, I ran a 5K after dying on the table 5 times, and that was harder than the marathon.
No.
I did that all from mental toughness. And I don't need to make up stories to get myself over. Like, yeah, right, sure you did. These fucking yahoos are unbelievable. But anyways,
after that, you transitioned to being a super fan of 3 Count.
3 counts,
dude. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen at home, if you don't like 3 Count, there's something wrong with you. They're absolutely brilliant.
I can't believe they didn't get over, and they should be up there with Backstreet Boys and that kind of stuff as far as greatness.
No worse.
And what do you say? I was I don't like this about me. I slipped a little bit in my personal integrity, but I had plans, narcissistic plans, and an agenda to become Tank Sinatra. And that's why I started wearing a tuxedo top and that kind of stuff. And I actually
that's been great. That's been great.
There's pictures of it. And I cut an album, or not an album, but a song. I went to Atlanta, they had a studio there. And I sang all covers of Frank Sinatra, like I Did It My Way, and all that kind of stuff. And they made a whole thing, and they were going to put it on Monday Night Nitro as a commercial. And the Sinatra people got wind of it and squashed it.
They are litigious. They are.
Yeah, they squashed it. So no Tank Sinatra, and I was so pissed off.
So do you still have it? You still have a copy of that?
Of what? I never saw it. They taped it all. They did a whole tape. They had these big cards for me to sing, the words to.
Oh, dude, we gotta.
It's good, and then they sold WCW, so that it's got to be in the archives of WWE.
Yeah,
somewhere.
So 3 Count consisted of Shane Helms, Shannon Moore, and Evan Courageous.
Yeah.
Did you get along with those 3?
Yeah, as much as you need to be.
Well, okay, so I think
so to get this illusion right, nobody. The most time I ever spent with 3 Count or any of them was in the ring. That was the most you ever seen.
You guys didn't pre-plan, have
before when you're walking out and during the show, you go over your match before the doors open.
It's just straight business, huh?
Yeah.
Who pitched the idea of you being their number 1 fan and eventual bodyguard?
I think it was Jimmy Hart.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I can see that.
He made up the songs.
Yeah, that's him. That's Jimmy Hart. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a real musician.
Yeah. So is Mean Gene. Mean Gene's an actual musician as well. Yeah.
Gino was great. That was one of my fonder moments of WCW, was partying with Gino.
So ICP said that they drank with you a few times.
Yeah.
And they said that they were a little intimidated doing so.
Oh, maybe it works a little bit. Sometimes.
Okay.
I don't never ever even had a hard word with them. They invited me to go to the gathering one time. I went by myself to a gathering, not working for them. I went to go work with them. They used to put on wrestling shows at their gatherings.
Vito Tomaselli was one half of the Haters.
Yeah.
Tag team champion 5 years, really good friend of mine. I mean, another guy you can't get into a screw you match with. I mean, he'll bury you. Like he'll have 50,000 comebacks. Like there's just no winning. Yeah.
Winning person. Yeah.
Oh, all those ICP guys, all of them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I enjoy their music, and
so
if you take time to listen to the lyrics, they're pretty cool.
On your way out, who gives you the phone call? When do you know they're not going to renew your contract?
Never did.
You never got a phone call saying goodbye? It was just stop communication?
Yeah, no, I didn't work for the first year. I know the first 6 months, somewhere around there. I didn't work for that. I got a check every 2 weeks, and then I hurt myself at the power plant. I pulled a hamstring, not hamstring, but a Achilles, but not bad enough that I didn't have to work. I couldn't work. I needed like a couple of weeks off for it to heal, and I never came back. And that was like maybe 4 or 5 months.
Huh.
So
what about the end? I mean, there's no goodbye, there's no farewell, shake hands, thank you, Tank, nothing.
No, I got my last check. Thought about calling WWE, and that point in time, I was done with it, and didn't want to do anything but drink myself to death.
Oof.
And I got that. Yeah, and I achieved that goal. I'm
then you came back. Man,
I burned the fucking house down. Ben Saunderson ain't got a fucking thing on me, man. Nobody could party harder than I was. And I was not doing ghetto drugs and shit like that. I'm just talking about drinking. I was getting down. A second to none. Nobody could fucking touch me. These guys that think they're hardcore and all that kind of stuff. God bless you guys. It's not a competition to me, but I guarantee you, hang out with me for fucking 4 days. You'll wake up in a cold sweat screaming for your mom.
Did you, afterward, you had an independent match, a tag team match with Kevin Northcutt against Bob Sapp and Stone Mountain. How was your dealings with Bob Sapp?
Bob was always cool. I never did an independent match with him. I think that was Bob was he was at the power plant when I got there, and he was getting brought in for talent wise, and he was doing a match somewhere in Georgia.
Yeah,
can't tell you north, south, east, west, like a high school gymnasium or something like that. And I went there. They were like trying to get me as much experience as I can get, because the more you get in the ring, the more.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with different people. So I did something with him there one time. And that was it. I don't remember anybody else. I remember Bob, and Bob was always super cool. Always super cool.
Huh. Tank, you're I'm surprised that somebody hasn't made a life story about you yet.
I'll wait till the screenplay gets out that I'm writing. And I'm not no fucking chimp. I got a degree in history, and not because I was going to go on to law school. But the thing is, I was thinking about being a teacher, but that would have never worked. I went. My brother was a.
There's no way.
My brother was a football coach at a high school, and I went to drop him off when I was going to college, and I told myself, at the beginning of school, college, I was going to be a teacher. And then I went to drop them off. I go, I'll kill these little fucking punks. I can't be around it. And so I was going to go to law school, and then fate intervened, and I ended up I got my degree in history, and then I ended up fighting in the UFC. I went to jail first, and that changed my life trajectory.
That either it puts you at a fork in the road. Either you continue reoffending or you learn your lesson.
Well, yes and no, but as fate had it, I ended up working at a living in a halfway house, and Dave Thomas was there, and he goes, "Hey man, I'll get you in that show." And he doesn't understand. No, he's a Jewish only child, and so he doesn't understand. No, like
that's
mom,
cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So he goes, "I'll get you in that show." I said, "Knock yourself out, bro. I'll fight."
So Tank, there's a guy that we've been friendly with the last few months. He's a legit filmmaker, like an actual filmmaker that actually has like a pedigree and a history and the ability to raise money. I mean, it's like an actual person. That James Hergott. I'm gonna pass your number along to him. I would highly suggest you take his phone call. Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to. Anyways, back to I used to fill out blue books. This is people don't know in college, or essay books. I used to, for my history exams, I fill out a whole blue book on that. But as far as a screenplay, I've written. I Joey says he knows of my books. I don't know if he's read any of them.
I have. The Cage Fighter one.
And what do you think of it? What did you think of it?
You're not Tito. Tito couldn't have written that. That's for sure.
Right.
And I got full confession. It was the audio book. I'm not that much of a reader, but yes.
Yeah. Well, so the whole book is over 900 pages long. You write a 900-page novel, all you smart guys out there. And so I go, okay, you just make a screenplay out of it. The ignorance bubbling to the top of my brain. And then I went and got some how-to books on, and other than that, and started reading. I go, oh, there's nobody else that could write a screenplay of my thoughts. And it's awesome. It's, there's a whole structure to a screenplay. They're typically 110 pages long, 3 acts, and you got a midpoint and
character arc.
All is lost. All the beats. There's like 16 beats, and there's a very formulated project that you need to put into place, and it's there. And the only problem is I'm about 13 pages over, and it's really hard to cut some of your jewels that you're just like, oh my God, if I get rid of this, the whole story's not going to make sense. But I will get through it, and I will persevere, and I will get it done. And I'll tell you one thing, I know for sure, if it ever gets made or not, it will be better than the Smashing Machine.
I believe it.
Talk about a little bit of a flop.
I don't know.
A little bit of flop. I mean, that little bit of flop on that one. Yeah. Tank, you're an absolute gentleman. I sincerely appreciate doing part 2. Good shit, man. And there's a lot of questions I know that you've already addressed with other people, but I think we've shined a light on certain aspects that you hadn't touched on. So that was kind of important to us.
Tank, Royce Gracie just agreed to do a rematch with Kimo Leopoldo this May. Are you prepared to take on the winner?
Man, I have 2 organ grafts.
I know. Okay.
So that's a yes.
So that's a yes.
I was going to say, I'm just dumb enough to do it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'll shoot you and go have a good breakfast.
Yeah.
I didn't say that. Mark Smith did. He's the one that coined that phrase, but I understand it. I don't mess around with anybody. Don't mess around with me, and don't poke the bear.
Tank, we're going to be hitting you up for Paul Herrera's number. He's a guy that I think should be sitting in and doing something like this as well. I think his incredibly underappreciated as a fighter and somebody that has touched a lot of people as well, such as yourself.
Are you still in touch with John Marsh? Because John Marsh, his story needs to be told also.
Dude, John Marsh.
No, I haven't talked to John ever since I got sick. Once I got sick, I took off, man. That's a whole nother. The only person I talked to is the guy that used to drive me around. Steven. I told him he should write a book.
What about Big Al?
Well, I talk to Big Al now and then. He lives out in Utah. And he's back coaching football again. And
good for him.
Yeah, good for him. And he's doing good. Everybody's doing good. So
good.
But I'm like kind of a hermit, and I don't really hang out and do things. I'm just hang out with my 4 dogs. I don't need any friends. I have 4 dogs.
Well, anytime you're bored, we want to do a part 3 and hear all about
you're the fucking man, dude.
Comeback.
You're the fucking man. Yeah, you're the man, Tank.
Whenever you want to do a part 3, I can sit here. We can go all the way up to part 20. Okay. But I'll tell you what, and there's no kidding about the screenplay.
No. I'm gonna pass your number along. He's an actual filmmaker, like not a jerk off in his basement. He's an actual filmmaker.
No. So it's been a project of mine forever, and I'm doing it the right way. And Walter Fox is the hero, and he shows the bad guys all what real fighting is.
Yep.
And the big Bart Shady and little Winchell Duncan and Tim Black.
Yep.
Yeah, they represent the bad guys. They in the end,
Walter comes out on top.
Walter Fox bubbles to the top and lets them know who's who in the martial arts world.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tank.
Have a good night.
It was my pleasure. You guys have a good night.
You too. There we go.
Okay, hey, just wanted to give a shout out. I got a plug. Apex MMA in Eagle Rock, California. If you live in Pasadena, LA, or anywhere in between, all skill levels, come on, train with me and Herb. Tank Abbott.
Joey,
I get a yellow card for shamelessly plugging my friend's gym.
You should have done it in the beginning. Joey. That's a yellow card. No, that's a. I tell you, like he's a guy that. There's a couple behind the scenes names that I want to kind of push maybe for part 3, like Buddy Albin.
Yeah.
And he also got to see the transition from SEG to Zuffa, from Zuffa to TKO. He's one of those few guys that, he's seen multiple generations of owner and matchmaker. And when
he comes back. Yeah. When he comes back, it's 2003. So it's the pre-tough explosion.
Yeah.
Zuffa's struggling to make it work. They're doing big shows.
Losing her ass.
They're losing millions every year. And they get Tank to try to bail them out of their hole.
And they're also consulting with Frank Shamrock and Dana White. Dana White and Frank Shamrock are consulting to Fertitas. So there's like a lot of interesting kind of behind the moving parts in regards to that. All right, David Isaac. He mentioned David Isaac coming out,
yes, he did.
Tank
he
obviously
to that episode.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's history. Whether you like it, whether you don't like it, it's history. So, David Isaac, we're trying to get him and Myrowitz to come on, and yes, and we're going to discuss some of our early UFC theories. So, I mean, to kind of like peel the curtain back a little bit. I have come up with a timeline of the fence grabbing rule. And I didn't want to say it during the interview, but in the UFC Japan 15.5 during the Anjo fight. So this is what I did. I listened to the first 50 UFCs. Every second of every broadcast that's available, I went through little at a time. And any single time a rule change or an infraction was brought up that wasn't in the previous episodes or previously known, I notated it.
Okay.
So in that Yoji Anjo 15.5, still pre-Coleman, you could be on top, grab the fence, and as long as you're punching with one hand, it was allowed. So grabbing both hands, stabilizing, and keeping people like still not allowed. So it's
you said that was pre-Coleman.
Well, it's 15.5 because there's like ultimate.
Yeah.
Let me take a look, dude.
Coleman came in at what? UFC 10 was his first one?
Here. Mark Coleman versus Pete Williams. Date. Okay. So that's May 15th, 1998.
Yeah.
So now when we're looking at the
15.5.
When we're looking at the Yoji Anjo.
December 21st, 1997.
Here, wait, 1998 is Pete Williams. If I said 95, that's wrong. It's 98. UFC 17 is May 15th, 1998. So Yoji Anjo.
Yoji Anjo is December 21st, 1997.
Oh, fuck, we got him.
So not pre-Coleman entering the UFC, but pre-Coleman versus Pete Williams. Yes, it was. You're saying they just let him hang on the fence?
Oh, my God, dude.
All right.
We got him.
One more stone we're going to overturn.
Wait. No. Wait, Joey. This is when you're supposed to put me over.
That's why he's the MMA detective, ladies and gentlemen. He's mentally ill, so you don't have to be.
This is like when I act surprised, and you know.
Hey, Marco, who else is coming out soon?
Joey. So we also dude, Marco was coming out soon. We also got to practice like when we get him, like just as I suspected. You know what I mean? We gotta.
Okay. All right, yeah, we got to ham it up for the crowd if we really want to catch on with these young kids.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's just the way it is, right? So no, we got some cool stuff coming up. We're going to start delving into some pioneer women as well. 50 Fight Club members out of Europe. Joey, we got to start working on people outside of the United States. We haven't in a while. We got to. We should step on Dennis Kang. We should ask Dennis Kang for some leads. There's a couple guys in Canada that I'd really like to talk to.
Yeah.
Las Vegas police officer, Josh Barnes. Wait, come on. What's his name? You Tough 2.
No. The guy who was in the finals of Tough against Bisping.
Should probably
Josh Haynes.
Josh Haynes.
He said he'll come on. We got a couple other guys too. Jake O'Brien.
Okay, who am I preparing for next? You tell me.
I say Jake O'Brien agreed to it a while ago. I said we knock him out. You said that's easy for you.
Yeah, that's easy. I can study him on Monday. Jake O'Brien. Who else are we gonna interview next week? Then give me 2 names. Let's try to get 2 next week.
God, you're putting me on the spot.
Let's do the Vegas Cop.
Yeah. Josh Haynes and
all right.
And O'Brien. Yeah.
I'm home for a minute with BKFC. So if we can get 3 weeks ahead, I'd kind of like to do that. All right.
All right. I'll send the text out tonight.
Love you, Joey. Be good
talking to you.
Later.